going to be doing a little short sequence today. If you start to get numbness in your fingers or a lot of tightness in your upper back, if you've had a massage and they find like knots under your shoulder blades, or you just find that you've got a lot of upper back stiffness, it's a really common problem. People in the healthcare industry, especially like acupuncturists, massage therapists, yoga people, we call it computer back. And so the computer is a fantastic tool. I wouldn't want to have my life without one, but all that sitting at a computer causes the spine to do that. And you might not think your posture is that bad while you're sitting at the computer, but believe me, I've walked around and looked at a lot of people. Everybody leans in towards the computer. That means their head is way in front of their spine and their upper back is rounded. And that's a lot of times what causes the numbness, is this rounded, collapsed spine. It's really bad for your digestion, your respiration, it's not good. So that idea of opening up the chest is one of the things that yoga can really help with. Now the first, like most basic thing to do, this is just a hand towel from the bathroom. Taking it, folding it, and I'm rolling it up into a tight little cylinder. Okay, it's not very big. So if you find you've got a really rounded back or you've got a lot of pain, it might be best to start with a really small prop like this. I'm going to place it across my mat so that when I lay down on it, it's going across my spine. And I'm going to position it right about here, which is the bottom edges of my shoulder blades. You can move it a little higher or a little lower. I wouldn't go in towards the kidney, low back area. You want it up in this range, okay, shoulder blade area, because that's the part that's really, they call it a kyphosis, it's really round. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to kind of tuck my tail under as I lie back, and I'm going to find where that roll is, and I'm going to place it at the bottom edges of my shoulder blades and see how that feels. Now when you lay down on this, you find that your head is tilted back, and you're actually looking back behind you. That's probably not going to be comfortable for you. So get another towel or a little pillow. I'm just going to use a yoga blanket, and you can place it whatever height you need to, the blanket for the head or the prop for the head. My shoulders are going to fall into the space between the roll and the prop for my head. And so now I'm looking up at the ceiling. So if you find your chin is tilted up and that's uncomfortable, then add something for your head. Now, if it's not uncomfortable to just let the head go back, that's great. But if it causes discomfort, or you're worried about blood pressure, dizziness, things like that, then elevate the head on something. A brick might be a little too high, but if that's all you have, that works. But a couple of folded towels is probably all most people would need. And then it's nice to kind of stay here with the knees bent. I lift the hips up and kind of unarch my lower back, because I don't want to feel like I'm doing this from my lumbar spine down here. I want to feel like the lift is opening up my chest. And you just take a couple of nice deep breaths. You could stay here for a minute or two. You don't have to stay for a long, long time. A minute or two is a really long time in a yoga pose, so set a timer on your phone for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes at the most, and then stay within your comfort level. Never stay longer than you're comfortable. Roll off to the side and sit up slowly when you come out of these. Now I do tend to get a lot of upper back tightness, and so sometimes when I even lay down on a small prop like this, I'll start to get a muscle spasm. If that's what starts to happen, then just lie down, do some gentle arm movement, and see if you can get the muscles to relax, but get rid of the prop if your body starts spasming. Now the other thing, a lot of you know, these are 2 pinky balls, P-I-N-K-Y, you can find them online, and they're just children's toys. They're like these rubber balls that are kind of soft and smushy. They're about the size of a tennis ball, but tennis balls are too hard, and they collapse when you put weight on them. These are firm enough that they're going to give you a gentle resistance. Golf balls, lacrosse balls, those are way too hard. You'll notice that they're close to one another, but there's enough space that my spine can fit into the space between the 2 balls. Now, because most of the time when I find I'm having numbness in my fingers, I've been sitting at the computer too long, These will definitely get the spot, the knots in my upper back, but it can also be quite uncomfortable, especially how I'm going to show it is laying down on them. So if you lay down and it's just too much, you might try laying down on your bed, because the bed is really soft, and your bed might be too soft. The other thing you can do is you can position them and then be up against a wall, but I'm going to show lying down first. You've got the prop for your head if you need it. I'm going to demonstrate without the prop, but add something for your head if you need it. Again, one ball on either side of my spine. And when I lie back, I'm going to position it a little bit higher up than I did the roll. I'm talking like an inch. When I mean a little bit, I mean a little bit. And I'm going to move my arms out of the way for a second so you can kind of see. The ball is positioned sort of in line with my chest, in line with my sternum. And then it is kind of nice actually to cross the arms over the chest because that moves the shoulder blades away from the spine. And so when you cross the arms over, doesn't matter how you cross them, but I'm trying to stack my elbows. And then you can do a little rock side to side. So if you lie down on these and it's just too painful, a softer surface to lie down on, so a carpeted floor, a rug, rather than a hardwood floor or tile, your bed, if it's not too soft, and then the next one is the wall, and I'll show you how to use the wall. So now I'm scooting towards my feet, and I'm just kind of wiggling from side to side, and as I did that, the balls moved up a little closer to the middle, to the top of my shoulder blades, and I'm going to just do that rocking motion.